What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cafe and Views. Today, we're going to Dogtown Coffee at the Fremont Miramar, and we're going to get ourselves a salty dog. Follow me to go see what it's all about. So the coffee shop is located at the Fremont Miramar, so it's right next to the beach. So if you want to go on the overlook, you can see the beach, and then if you turn around, you can see the Fremont Miramar Hotel. The menus from the Dogtown in Santa Monica downtown is a lot different than the menu here at the Fremont. They don't have that special salty dog coffee at the other location. They only have it at this location. Since this is located at the hotel, it's kind of smaller than other coffee shops might be. The other Dogtown coffee shop, it's more so on the road. So if you pass by, you're able to see it a lot better. But their menu is not as extensive. It's not really complex. The salty dog is probably the more complex coffee that they have, as opposed to maybe the turmeric and the cardamom coffee. And they do also have snacks, not as much snacks, but they do have some hot foods that you can get. Bagels, muffins, cookies, baguettes, brownies, croissants, so kind of small finger food type of snacks, not really any big meals. They also have other drinks to choose from, and they also have chips and other smaller snacks that you can grab on the go. For the overall coffee shop, I'm gonna put this at about a 3.5 out of 5. Well, the Salty Dog is a 24-hour brewed coffee. It's sweetened with deep, bitter caramel, and it's topped off with sea salt infused foam. So as you can tell on the coffee, that's what you're getting on top, is that sea salt foam. Let's talk about acidity. Let's mix up the coffee so the foam gets infused into the coffee and kind of mixes with the caramel and the coffee instead of just sitting on top. So what they say is true with the caramel. You are getting a bitter sourness type of feeling from it. It's not giving off a huge sweet caramel where it's kind of unpleasing. The taste mixed with the sea salt foam gives it extra bit of a salty, bitter type of feeling to the coffee, which enhances it even more. So usually caramels that are pretty sweet are more lively and in your face. This is one of the fewer coffees that I'm actually really enjoying the caramel being toned down and kind of changed differently. I was getting tired of having the same type of caramel drink over and over again, and this changes the whole caramel perception of the coffee. Because it's still a caramel, it is giving off slight sweet notes. At first, when you get the sip in your mouth, you are able to pick up that bitter sour note combined with the foam. And then as you're mixing it around in your mouth, you are able to pick up that sweet note. For acidity, I'm gonna put this at about a 4 out of 5. Let's talk about aroma. So I'm getting that strong sea salt from this coffee. The coffee and the caramel is not really being pronounced like in the taste. And the aroma, I'm mainly getting that foam smell and that sea salt and that bitterness. It's kind of giving me like a whipped cream type of aroma, if you can imagine that. It is pleasant because I love the smell of whipped cream, you know, who doesn't? But just the overall smell is good. I would love for it to be a little bit better. I would love for the caramel to stick out a lot more, or maybe the sea salt to stick out a lot more. You do have to lean into it quite a bit to get that smell. It's not projecting really well. This coffee, it's pretty much all flavor, really minimal aroma. So if you're into the aromas of coffees, this coffee is not gonna be for you. For aroma, I'm gonna put this at a 1.5 out of 5. Let's talk about body. It is giving off a really good mouthfeel. It's slightly giving me that milkshake type of consistency, but that might be because of the foam. But overall, it's giving me like a creamy, smooth finish. The texture is there. It's providing a nice coating on your tongue, so it's not harsh. There's no remnants in this coffee that's gonna make it feel kind of odd or different. Because it's creamy, it doesn't make you feel like what the coffee is, you know, the salty dog, drinking that at the beach, the smoothness of the waves. So definitely this coffee is gonna be perfect for that type of environment. A lot of people, they have colognes that kind of mimic the Amalfi Coast. So this coffee is doing that, but in terms of aroma and flavor. And it's also doing the same thing in terms of body, so the overall mouthfeel. So if you get a cologne that smells like the beach and you spray it on, you grab this coffee and you actually go to the beach, you're gonna get that 100% full experience. For body, I'm gonna put this at a 4.5 out of 5. Drinking the Salty Dog near the beach, at the beach, just overall improves your mood. Just overall looking at the ocean, and it kind of makes your mind wander. Having the Salty Dog be salty and bitter overall adds to the escape of being at the beach. Just trying out the foam makes you feel like you're at the ocean or right next to it, getting that salty breeze from the air. Let's talk about flavor. So this is where the coffee really shines. The flavor is really prominent and pronounced. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I actually smelled the coffee and I got that whipped cream type of aroma, I'm getting that similar type of taste in this coffee. So the sea salt foam is making it seem like it's a salty whipped cream type of taste in combination with a bitter caramel, so a less sweet caramel. It's not quite bitter, but it is a lesser version of the caramel. And the notes are really pronounced. You're able to pick up every single taste, just like with the description of the coffee, since it's a salty caramel, you are able to pick up that salty caramelness. You don't have to really dig deep to really understand it. And then also with the sea foam, having it be salty, you can taste the foam has something different done to it. It's not a sweet foam, and all the flavors are balancing out. The caramel isn't sticking out too much, the foam isn't sticking out too much, neither is the coffee. So they're all combined to provide that perfect salty dog taste that's advertised at the cafe. And since it has a different flavor, it is making me remember it a lot more. Adding salt to a coffee, you probably wouldn't even see that in a lot of coffee shops unless they have a really complex coffee. So having the caramel be salty and then the sea foam also be different kind of adds to the flavor and makes it complex. For flavor, I'm putting this at a 4 out of 5. Next up is gonna be aftertaste. So I think the taste changes slightly, because initially you're gonna get that bitter caramel mixed with the salty sea foam, and then as it's mixing around in your mouth, you're able to pick up more of that sweet caramel, so you can't really escape that sweetness of the caramel. It's gonna sneak up on you towards the end, so you're kind of having the best of both worlds, getting a new experience on the caramel side, but then the old caramel, the sweet caramel, is also coming out and reminding you that it's a caramel drink, but the overall body of it is not changing. It's still maintaining that nice smooth finish. It's still being creamy and overall providing just a nice take on the caramel, and it's not being sharp, it's not being in your face. It's going to coat your mouth. It's gonna provide a nice satisfying feeling. It's not gonna go away, especially having the foam in here. It's gonna coat your mouth and stick around, and since it's different, your brain is gonna probably kind of trick you into thinking that you want this coffee to stick around, so you're gonna keep thinking about it even after the coffee's gone. Just the overall satisfying feeling makes me want to go back into the coffee and keep taking a sip. For aftertaste, I'm putting this at a 4.5 out of 5. Next up on the list is gonna be sweetness. This coffee right off the bat, I immediately know that it's gonna be right at the middle point that I really enjoy. Even seeing just the coffee that it's a bitter caramel, I immediately know that it's not gonna be super sweet. The sugar is not going to overpower the flavor of the coffee. I know that having it be salty is gonna kind of counteract the sweetness and provide the caramel to be that perfect type of sensation that you would love in a caramel coffee. I'm not really detecting the saltiness making my mouth dry. It's actually coating it and making it wet. For sweetness, I'm putting this at a 4 out of 5. We're gonna be talking about the complexity of the coffee. So the Dogtown Cafe being at the hotel, it's the first coffee shop that I've been to that's in a hotel, so it has a different kind of experience. It might be easily missed because it's at the hotel, so if you're passing by and you don't see any signs that say there's a coffee shop at this hotel, you're gonna kind of be swayed away and you're gonna wanna go to another coffee shop that might be on the street or easily visible. And the coffee cup is not different as well. It's a similar coffee cup, so if you didn't see the foam, you might consider this coffee to be forgettable because there's no markings on here and you're not gonna be able to remember where you got it from. Having different saltiness of the caramel, kind of like a salty caramel chocolate bar. So if you ever had that, you had sea salt into a caramel bar and you kind of get that saltiness in it, that's exactly what you get in this coffee. And then the foam is just gonna overall enhance and provide the caramel to be more creamy. And this is one of the first coffees that is actually bitter and sour when it comes to caramel. So it's definitely complex there. If you mix it around, it gives off a really cool look. For complexity, I am gonna put this at a 3.5 out of 5. Let's talk about balance. So this coffee does a really good job at making sure every flavor is right where it needs to be. Nothing is competing to be the most dominant of the coffee. Like what the name implies, you know, the Dogtown coffee salty dog. It's basically saying that the coffee is going to be more salty than anything else, and that's exactly what it's doing. The ingredients are balancing out perfectly to create that perfect salty feeling where it's not over sweet, but you still get some sweetness, but it is going to make it a little bit more salty, and it's gonna tone down the sweetness of the ingredients. If you like more balanced ingredients, this coffee is gonna be perfect for you. Like a vanilla coffee, the vanilla is gonna be more prominent. Caramel latte, the caramel is gonna be more prominent. And the mocha latte, the mocha is gonna be more prominent. But with this coffee, even the caramel is toned down and the foam is toned down to provide that nice balanced feeling. For balance, I'm putting this at a 4.5 out of 5. Versatility. Because it's a different take on the coffee and because it's salty and has foam, you're able to drink this coffee anytime during the day, anytime during the week. You want to enjoy this coffee at the beach and just overall have a good experience. If it's your first time in Santa Monica or you go to Santa Monica on the weekends and you want to enjoy the beach, go grab the Salty Dog and actually go to the beach and enjoy it, as opposed to just going to the beach without anything in hand. For versatility, I'm gonna put this at a 4.5 out of 5. Let's talk about forgiveness. The only thing that really needs to be forgiven is the aroma. Since aroma is my favorite scent, I'm really bummed out that it's not really prominent and there's not much to this coffee. I would really love for the caramel and the foaminess to kind of combine and create a huge burst of aroma, but sadly, only the foam comes out and makes that whipped cream type of aroma, but it's not prominent. Maybe if it was a little bit more pronounced and it was kind of out there, then the aroma would kind of be forgiven a little bit. The flavor and the body and the overall complexity of the coffee is gonna forgive the aroma. For forgiveness, I am gonna put this at a 2.5 out of 5. Overall, the Salty Dog from Dogtown Coffee, 75% out of 100. So thank you so much for watching Cafe and Views. Tune in to see where we're going next. Peace.